Hello everyone and welcome to Battle of the Beast Reptile Rampage episode number 10. I'm Adam and today we got the 10th battle of round 1 about to be underway. We got two beasts competing for a spot in round 2 and both of these beasts have some similarities and some glaring differences. And they both took part in the old generation tournament. Sorry about the pause, by the way. And they both had rather interesting arcs, one of which had me labelling them as the underdog of that series, whilst the other one was one which people didn't expect to do well, but when he killed Silver the Wild Terror in the OG tournament, let's just say there was someone who came very hateful against him. And that's when my appreciation for this beast started. And I still have appreciation for both of these beasts, honestly. But let's introduce them. Representing Series 8, the Pirate King. The second reptile to be taking place in this tournament from Series 8, we have Balisk the Water Snake, the underdog of Series 1 of Battle of the Beasts. Versus his opponent. A representative of Series 11, the only reptile from Series 11, and the only beast from that series in this tournament. This beast is most known for his insane victory over Silver the Wild Terror, but also has claimed other interesting victories in the past. Whilst I can't label them, that's because his opponents were kind of forgettable. But this beast never done exceedingly brilliant in previous tournaments. So, with his most impressive victory being against Silver, he only made it to the top 20 at the furthest he has ever done. So, will he do better? And you make it to round 3 in this tournament? Well, first he needs to beat Balisk. But I'm, of course, talking about Serpio the Slithering Shadow. So, Balisk versus Serpio. Both of these beasts I do have a strong fondness for, which is why I had this battle as one of the later ones. The only reason, I actually have no idea who's going to win this one. And that's kind of interesting because, hey, it gives me some intrigue. But I think I know who I think should win and who I would prefer to win. So either way, I'll be satisfied with it. But first, I need to understand more about these beasts. And to do that, we need to get to the stats. Balisk the Water Snake, one of the beasts conjured by Serpio the Pirate King. Balisk lurks in the Western Ocean. His long, powerful body is covered in tough scales, and his fins have sharp claws. Dagger-sharp fangs fill his gaping mouth. Age 278, power 237, magic level 171, fright factor 90, size 333. Powers and abilities: underwater breathing, splitting. Balisk can split himself into two separate Balisks, one flying into the air, the other staying in the water. Natural weaponry and flight. When split into two, one of the Balisks can fly through unknown means. Weaknesses is striped back. Balisk's weak spot is the black stripe going down his back, which if stabbed makes him melt away and die. Serpio the Slithering Shadow. Serpio has the body of a giant snake, with scales that gleam in the darkness. He was created by the sorceress Kensa using the blood of Arcta the mountain giant, and like that beast he has only one eye, which glows brightly. He can breathe a hail of freezing water, encasing his victims in ice. Age 0, power 284, magic level 180, fright factor 87, size 327. Powers and abilities: Ice Body. Serpio's body is made of ice. Ice and Venom Breath. Serpio can spew out icy venom like water from his mouth, which is cold enough to freeze a person solid. Flight. He possesses wings, which grant him flight. Ice Resistance. Serpio's resistant to his own ice breath. Natural Weaponry. Sharp fangs, cold forked tongue to chill anything upon contact, and a strong tail to smack opponents with. Enhanced Durability. Enhanced Strength, Borrowing, and 360-degree vision. Serpio can transform his heart, which is situated in his tail, into another eye to see anything behind him. Weaknesses, pierceable heart, which is on his tail. Okay, so with the stats department done for Balisk and Serpio, the battlefield I'm going to be doing is the beach arena. Haven't done that arena in a while, but I just thought it'd be fair that, well, Balisk obviously needs water, but then I'm thinking I should give Serpio some land for him to go on, so he gets the beach. Okay, actually, that does have... Actually, oh, okay. Anyway, so I just had an idea. With that being said, Balisk versus Serpio. Let's get into this. So, as the chamber doors open, Serpio immediately bursts through the sky exit, wraps himself up nice and warm, and roars into the arena before stretching himself out, showing his full size to the spectators. Spectators are cheering for Serpio, some loyalists of Silver are booing him, and with that, Serpio immediately stares at them with his one piercing eye, which silences the negative crowd. Meanwhile, Balisk comes out through the water chamber before showing himself in all his glory, breaking the surface of the water and roaring into the arena, well, hissing. The fans start cheering for Balisk as well, knowing this is going to be a good fight. As soon as they set eyes on each other, Serpio immediately shoots his icy venom towards Balisk. Balisk immediately splits into two, his water half diving into the water, whilst his flying half goes up into the sky, dodging the icy breath. Serpio immediately gets to work before shooting his icy venom all over the watery side, all over the water, therefore freezing the water surface, making it impossible for both the Balisks to connect to each other. And then what Serpio does is that he dives into the sand, starts digging out as much free space underneath the sand as he can before breaking the wall of the sand to the water, which starts draining the water in. As the water ballast feels the surface, the level of the water decreasing, he starts realizing that he's losing places where he can go. Meanwhile, Serpio gets out of the hole before freezing the sand where he was on, therefore trapping the water Balisk completely in water where he can't go that high at all. Serpio immediately turns his attention to the flying Balisk, who's now charging down towards him. Serpio soars up into the sky, dodging Balisk before Balisk turns himself up, and they both charge towards each other. Balisk gets ready to coil around Serpio to attack him there and then. Serpio shoots his icy venom towards Balisk, which Balisk is able to move through with little to no problem, but little did Balisk know that was a clever diversion for Serpio, where Serpio dived underneath Balisk and bit down on Balisk's tail, pulling him backwards towards him. Serpio wraps his entire body around Balisk as Serpio continues biting and pulling at Balisk's tail before ripping it clean off, and starts tearing away at the insides of Balisk's tail. Balisk turns his whole head towards Serpio and bites down on his face, in which Serpio roars in pain, pulls his head back and bites towards Balisk, causing Balisk to reel back. Serpio immediately shoots an ice breath directly towards Balisk's face, which this time, due to how close range it was, actually causes Balisk to try and shake himself free, not seeing where he's going, and collides into the wall of the arena. Serpio then releases Balisk before going up to the higher ground and shooting an icy breath directly on Balisk, this time inside the wound that he made, freezing the inside of Balisk. Balisk starts screeching in pain over this before flying up towards Serpio, biting down on his body right around the chest area. Serpio decides that he's going to, equal treatment, bites down onto the back of Balisk's neck and pulls Balisk away from him before continuing to bite down, sinking his fangs deeper into Balisk and shooting icy venom point blank, freezing the insides of Balisk. As Balisk starts screeching in pain from this, the spectators can see mist actually exhaling from Balisk's mouth, which they stare at in shock. As Serpio lets Balisk go, Balisk starts falling to the ground, in which Serpio soars down towards Balisk and, using his whole body, slams the flying Balisk fast into the ground, where he collides into the icy sand, shattering the sand. As the flying Balisk moves no more, the water Balisk is now free, to where he coils up as much as he can and tries to jump out of the surface of the water and slam his entire body into the ice covering the ocean part. Serpio makes his way down to the water Balisk, who now has free reign and can see what's happening, just in time to realise that it's now 1-on-1 and Balisk can't move much at all. Balisk stays coiled up in the water as Serpio makes his way down. In the sand part, just being careful not to go too much into the water, Serpio then shoots his icy venom at the water, freezing it over, this time with more force, more freezing the water. Balisk is feeling the ice, feeling the cold. Serpio flies up to Balisk, wraps himself around him, and using all of his strength, hoists Balisk out of the water. As Balisk is trying to resist, eventually Serpio, still shooting the icy venom at the water, causes Balisk to lose concentration with how cold it is, and Serpio pulls Balisk out the water. Before Serpio releases Balisk and freezes the water entirely, making it impossible for Balisk to break through the water or even get into the water. As Balisk is roaring in frustration, he's failing to realise that Balisk is losing precious water oxygen, and Balisk suddenly starts struggling to breathe, in which Serpio bites down onto Balisk's back and hoists Balisk up into the sky, chucking him onto the sand, so that way the spectators can see Balisk struggling to breathe. Serpio then lands on his perch where he started and just stares at the snake of Balisk, struggling to breathe, struggling to move, trying to find water, but is completely unable to. Serpio contemplates on whether he should finish Balisk there and then, or just let this snake suffer. Serpio decides that he's going to throw Balisk a bone and goes down to Balisk's level before wrapping his entire body around Balisk's body, biting onto his head, and twisting Balisk's neck, breaking it, silencing Balisk forever. Sorry about the pause, but with that, the battle is actually over. With Balisk being silenced forever, Serpio makes his way back to his chamber, satisfied with the victory. So that, Serpio's won, Balisk has lost. If you think Balisk should have won, please comment below. I think that how my word's final, and Serpio's moving on to the next round. As for an oversight on the battle, I would have preferred Balisk making it through to round 2, but the thing is though, I just saw Serpio winning this battle more, and trying not to be biased here, I do believe Serpio should go to round 2 over Balisk. So, with Serpio being able to separate both the Balisks when they immediately splitted, that was the part where I was like, right, so Serpio's won, because it's a 1-on-1, then immediately another 1-on-1 after that, not a 1-on-2. There was nothing the Balisk underwater could do to save the flying Balisk, and that was the downfall for Balisk. So that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down the corner below, and I'll see you next time.